A business cycle is the expansion and contraction of an economy. In reference to the idea of business cycles, Karl Marx argued that at a given moment, the supply of all commodities can be greater than the demand for all commodities, since the demand for the general commodity, money, exchange value is greater than the demand for all particular commodities. In other words, the motive to turn the commodity into money to realize its exchange value prevails over the motive to transform the commodity again into use value. Accordingly, decreased consumption will cause excess supply and decrease in profit. This decrease in profit sets off a chain reaction that includes decreased investment and ultimately a crisis. Furthermore, the crisis motivates the government to give handouts to recover the economy. The improved economy will include increased taxes, which once again will lead to decreased consumption. Thus, the cycle continues.
Marx considers this to be an appropriate critique because, by analyzing the sphere of production, there is inequality within the system. He believes that production is the most important part of society. It is necessary, yet workers are being exploited nonetheless. Marx believed that capitalism will not produce a solution on its own, and by the working class accepting the consequences of business cycles, capitalism will continue until producing the common ruin of all. Capitalism causes this problem because business cycles are inherently a part of the capitalist economy. Capitalism is inherently prone to crisis. It is unstable and prone to fluctuations, causing this business cycle. The existence of inequality and poverty places workers against capitalism. He says that capitalism gives no security to the laborer, perpetually threatens to take away what they need to get by, and even in a functioning capitalist system, nothing can be guaranteed to the worker. Capitalism works in a way that workers cannot escape the business cycle. And
according to Marx, one of the problems regarding capitalism is that there is a huge gap between the workers and business owners. In Das Kapital, Marx states, "The worker actually becomes poorer the more wealth he produces. This is because no matter how many long hours an individual in a factory may work, they still receive the same salary. As a result, the extra work that workers put in and don't get paid for produces more profit, not for the worker but for the capitalist." In terms of business cycles, this means that when the economy is at its peak, inflation would be detrimental to the workers. This is because while goods and services are rising in price, workers' wages stay the same, making their wages decrease in value. On the other hand, when the economy is at a downfall, there are high unemployment rates, and people cannot even afford basic living necessities, causing them to rely on financial aid from the government. In either situation, no one wins. This problem is not self-correcting, and Marx's solution is simply to have the government involved. By creating a sort of monopoly, the wages of workers are controlled by the government instead of individual capitalists.
First, an overview of business cycles they are downward and upward movements of the level of gross domestic product, GDP. Basically, what this means is when the business cycle is at its peak, there's increased consumer spending and there's low unemployment. This leads to a general rise in consuming goods and services, which also leads to inflation because we are basically creating money. However, the capitalist is getting all this money. So, Marx would want the government to force businesses to pay individuals higher wages based on their labor. However, Adam Smith's response to this is individuals seek to maximize their own profits. Furthermore, these individuals have jobs that help to better themselves, the economy, and the capital in the most valuable way. Also, Adam Smith would have said that the government interference with business cycles would be both foolish and dangerous. He believed that each individual can judge their own situation much better than any statesman or lawgiver can do for him or her. His response would be that government intervention and forcing increased wages based on labor could reduce the incentive to work harder. After all, when people are already making a decent amount of money because the government is forcing it, why should they work for longer hours? Basically, although Adam Smith sympathized with the laborers, he still had a low opinion of the government, workers, and officials, so he wouldn't want them to interfere with business cycles.
In conclusion, we advocate for a mixed market. Not only will the mixed market salvage the economy, it will enable the economy to flourish. Government intervention is necessary, but excessive involvement is detrimental to the economy. Accordingly, we believe that moderation should be emphasized and extremes should be avoided.